back when I was in college, back when I was a crazy kid in college, I was invited to a church to attend. And the church was doing a program for college kids. And now I was a crazy kid, crazy college kid. Me and my best friend, we were wild, typical college kids. But they invited us to this church service, and we went. And the church was nice. We went to a couple of services, and we decided to keep going. The third time we went, we were in church. The pastor was preaching, and when they let out, and this was a Baptist church, so when they let out by rows. So each row would let out and come around and shake the deacon's hands and shake the pastor's hand. So mind you, this is only the third time when we went. Really didn't know anybody in the church. So we're coming around. I come around, I shake the deacon's hands, and I shake the pastor's hands, and he holds my hand and pulls me to him. And it kind of took me, and he told me to come, and he leaned over and whispered in my ear. He said, "I noticed you in the congregation, and God told me to tell you that you were going to be a great leader one day." I kind of just took me. I didn't know what to say, and he saw the look on my face, and he just smiled. All right, and my boys, they asked me, what did he say? And I told them, but honestly, it scared me, and and I didn't talk about that for years, didn't tell anyone. And I remember my initial reaction was, the pastor, what I was doing every weekend. You sure you got the right person? But, and it was, typical college kid, partying, drinking, socializing. And I kept that for years, didn't say anything. And I look back, and I remember back then, I was in school in undergrad, and, we wanted to open a club when we graduated. That was me and my best friend, my brother. We wanted to open a club. We're going to be club owners. And, there's nothing wrong with that. It's honoring all work, but that was years ago, and I've grown. So, 5 years from now, you're not going to be the same person. 10 years from now, you're not going to be the same person. It's like the old saying goes, if you spent the last 10 years with the same beliefs and thoughts and actions that you did, then you've wasted the last 10 years. So back then, I didn't know I was going to be this different person. And looking back at it, everything that I'm doing now, yes, and there was a full circle moment, because a couple of years ago, I was speaking at a high school graduation, and I was the keynote speaker, at the graduation. So I'm up on stage, I'm nervous, I'm trying to, give these kids a lessons that they can take with them. And I look in the front row, and I see the pastor, the same pastor. And it kind of took me. And I was like, whoa, because I haven't seen him since. And so here I am, being a speaker at a high school graduation, which if you had told me back then that was going to happen, I would have thought you were crazy. So after the graduation, all the kids are taking pictures, and, I'm thanking everybody, and I walk up to the pastor, and he just starts talking. He's like, "Oh, that was a great speech. That was awesome." And I remember him saying, "You said everything that I would have said." And I'm smiling at him the whole time. And I just say, "You don't remember me, do you?" And he kind of looked, and I told him the story. I told him the entire story, and he hugged me and grabbed my hands and just started praying. He just thanked me. And it was a little emotional. But at that moment, that was the full circle moment, And I knew right then that God was real. Like, I've always known God was real, even though, I made my mistakes in the past. But at that moment, that full circle moment, I knew that God was real. Because I had no idea, no inclination of the person that I would become and what I would be doing at this time. But God knew. And God sent that message to me back then when I had little faith, and I was running around and I had no idea what that message meant. God knew. And that pastor was Dr. James Coleman. And I've seen him since, and we've worked together since, and he's been a great mentor, almost like my spiritual father. And I have great admiration and respect for him. And this is just a message to anyone who's listening. Whatever you're going through, whatever you're dealing with, if you're making mistakes, don't worry. Push through those mistakes, learn from those mistakes, because the person you're gonna be 5, 10, 15 years from now is gonna blow your mind. But God knows who you're going to be. So just have faith in God and keep going and keep putting out your best. I made mistakes. I made plenty of mistakes after that, but I kept going, kept pushing, and kept learning. And I am very still shocked, but I know my purpose. And your purpose may not be what you are now. Your purpose will be what you discover later. But God knows, because God is real and God will be with you. So keep going, keep pushing. Don't worry about the mistakes. Don't worry about what people are saying. Just keep your faith and keep going, because you're not done.